Morning, what's going on YouTube? Welcome to WestysAngling. You're joining me and my dad for another fishery review today, and today we're at Heskin Old Hall Farm Fishery. Now that's a bit of a mouthful. It's only taken me about 3 takes to say that, but that's where we're fishing today. One of my subscribers has advised that we fish Lake 3. The reason being is it's got the best stock of double figure carp. It's not got the biggest carp in. The biggest carp are in Lake 2, so if you wanted the biggest, you need to be fishing Lake 2. I'll give you a closer look at the other lakes at some point today, but like I said, for today's session we're on Lake 3, aren't we, Dad?
Yeah.
And I've been advised to fish over towards the island, the first couple of pegs on the left as you come in. Dad's got his barrow with him today. I'm just carrying some of my stuff down. I've left the rest of it in my car. I think I'll borrow my dad's barrow to get the rest of it down. I'm going to be fishing on the bite alarms today, and also I bought some dog biscuits because surface fishing's allowed here, and apparently the carp are still up in the water. That's what I'm told. The bigger fish might be in Lake 2, but apparently the bigger fish are much harder to catch. There's quite a good stock of smaller carp. Looks like we're going into the wilderness here. Let my dad go first because he's got the barrow. A little bit slutchy. We've had a lot of rain over the past few days. Today was the first morning that I woke up and set off in the dark fishing. So autumn's just around the corner. It's amazing how quick this year's gone. But I'm still going to carry on with the fishery reviews well into autumn. This is my favourite time of year for fishing. September, October, even the start of November. Absolutely brilliant for carp. Here we go, just coming up to the fishery now. We've never fished here before, have we, Dad? Oh, it's beautiful. Look at that, folks. If it sounds like I'm out of breath, it's because I am. Right, let's choose a peg. We're meant to be fishing these first couple of pegs on the left as you come in. So thanks very much, Steve, for that advice. I have been recommended this fishery by a few people. Look at this, look at how well maintained it is. Pegs are good, a little bit eroded away, but God, that's nothing compared to some fisheries. Bed of lily pads over there in the corner, I bet that'd be a good peg. And apparently the trick is to fish maybe midway out, 3/4 of the way out towards the island. Now, like I said, tactics for today, something a little bit different. I'm going to start off on method feeders with bite alarms because I'm testing out my new sonic bite alarms that I've got. My SKX bite alarms, one of the alarms snapped off, so I'm going to be trying out my new bite alarms. They're sonic again, but they're the Sonic Gizmo, which are really cheap bite alarms, but apparently meant to be very good. Apparently this one's meant to be best peg. No, I'm only joking, I don't know, but you always pick the best one, don't you? And don't forget, guys, if you are wanting to buy some WestysAngling merch, there is a website up and running now. It's www.westysangling.co.uk. Can't be any simpler than that, can it? So www.westysangling.co.uk. If you like the logo, if you like the merch, go and grab yourself some. I'll put a link in the description for you as well. Also, I'll put a link in the description for this fishery. Right, I'm going to head back and we'll have a look at the pay station and we'll take a close look at the rules. So this is your pay hut. I think that's one of the nicest pay stations I've ever seen at a fishery. Net dip's part of the rules that you have to dip every single net that comes onto site, which is fair. I'll show you the rules a little bit closer on the inside here. It's £5 per rod at Heskin. And you've got your little honesty box there and your day tickets. It's got 3 lakes and it closes at 8 PM. And that's a close-up of the rules there. So no bloodworm, jokers or boilies, no bread feed, loose feed only, no night fishing, barbless hooks. Usual stuff. nothing out of the ordinary. It's £5 per rod. Me and my dad are both fishing 2 rods today, so that's a tenner each, which is pretty fair. It's pretty standard prices. But yeah, let's go and have a look around the lakes. Okay folks, that's the rest of my stuff. A few more things about there. Let's have a look at pond 2 while we're here. Where is it? Let's have a look at pond 2. So all the ponds are well marked, big signs. Pond 1 I think is over there, the one that's surrounded by trees, but we'll take a look at that later. But as soon as I'm on the way past, let's have a look at pond 2. Don't know if there's anybody else fishing. I'll try and be quiet. I think this is just a typical lake. Yeah, it is. There's somebody else fishing as well, so I won't go too far, but it's just a big so just your standard lake, just a big pool. These are nice features to fish to, these reeds. So yeah, if you want to try lake 2, that's lake 2. The fishery opens at dawn. The entrance to the fishery is a little bit set back off the main road, and it's on a corner. So when you're on, if you follow the postcode, you go right the way to the end of the winding track, and it's pretty much on your right. You will see it, the sign's pretty big, but just bear in mind that it's set back off the road. I can't see it being busy today with the weather forecast and the fact that there's 3 lakes, but knowing our luck, somebody will come and set up right next to us. It's a fair walk to the lakes, so bear that in mind. Ring a barra. I wouldn't say that it's disabled access at all. Look at him, he's set up already. That was quick. Dad just says it looks like a nice lake. Bigger than you thought.
Yeah, it is.
What are you fishing with today, Dad? What's your tactics? How are you going to approach it?
Usual. Wafters.
Yeah.
Both by 2 arms. One halfway to arm, I think, and I'll probably put one
up corner.
One up corner.
Yeah.
You could do the same, can't
Yeah, I
you,
could do the same, yeah. So I'm going to start off on 2 method feeders. I'm going to get everything set up. I'm not going to take you through the full setup today. There's loads of videos on the channel where I take you through the full setup and what I'm using and things like that. So I won't bore you all this time. But I'm going to get everything reasonably set up, and then we'll get some hook lengths on. As you know, I always have my rods pre-made up in the bags, so they're ready to go. It's just a case of getting the rods out, putting them together, putting a couple of hook lengths on, a couple of wafters, and we're good to go. But one thing that is a little bit different today that we're doing, I'll show you. I think my dad's out with this one because it's going to need 2 hands here. Open that up, Dad, for me. So this is ground bait, pellets and maggots that I just have frozen in the bottom of the freezer. My bottom of my freezer is literally full, and it's just a case of defrosting it, putting your hands through it, breaking up all the big bits, and this is going to be good to go straight away. And that is an absolute, excuse the language, shit mix of stuff in there. It's ground bait, a couple of different types of ground bait. It's dead maggots, there's bits of corn, there's 2mm pellets. So it is absolutely jam-packed full of attractants, that. So I've defrosted some for me and my dad. It's pointless us keep mixing new up when I've got so much frozen, and it's the perfect time of year to use it when the carp are feeding readily. And that'll be perfect just to go straight on the method feeder. It still binds together, right? And it'll break up nicely. So a little bit of a tip for you: don't throw anything away, keep it for the next session. If your wife or your partner lets you. Obviously not everybody's going to want a load of ground bait, pellets and maggots in the bottom of the freezer, but yeah, that's what I do. Save yourself a few quid. The fish don't mind, and it still stays fresh. So literally the first time using these alarms. One thing I like about them, they've got these clip-on covers that'll actually protect the alarm. like that. Right folks, I'm set up there, unhooking mat, ground bait buckets ready, net set up, bite alarms are on, switched on. I've put my hook lengths on. The method feeders I'm using today are the map ones, but I don't use the line clip. If you haven't seen the video where I do a review on these map feeders, I'll put it in the top right hand corner for you now. Anything of interest during these videos, guys, I'll always put a link in the top right hand corner. For example, how to tie up your own method feeder hook lengths if you're not sure. Wafters that I'm going with today, my favourite two wafters, which are the mainline match cell dumbbell wafters, which are white, and then a pink washed out Bandon wafter, 8mm on the other. And what I'll do a little bit later on, if I'm not getting anything on the method feeders, I'll swap over to surface baits and a surface controller float. I have brought everything I need with me today in my feeder fishing bag for fishing on the surface, like this big bag of dog biscuits and the surface controller float, like I said, which is literally this white thing here. I'll show you, I'll give you a closer look at it later on when we swap over to it, but there you go. That's a surface controller float, that's just a corder one. I've got a couple of hook lengths tied up in that little bag as well, ready to go. I'll let my dad take you through his setup very quickly, and then I'll get my rods out. So, what rods are you using, Dad?
12 foot greys, 1 1/4 test.
Yeah.
Shimano, I think these are GT 5010s.
Yep. They're quite an old reel, them, aren't they, Dad?
20 plus years old now.
They're still good though,
Yeah,
aren't they? After you got them, you got them refurbed, did you?
No,
them ones?
I
Oh, you've not
haven't had these.
refurbed them ones.
No, these two I haven't. They probably could do with it.
Yeah. So, Gray's rods, like you said, these are the exact same as mine. They're a Gray's Prodigy TX, and like my dad said, 1 1/4 test curve. What wafters are you going with today?
I've got the Matchline Essential Cell on one, and I've got the F1 Supreme Sweet Fish Meal on the other.
Yeah.
So I'm trying them first.
What sizes?
I think they're about 8mm these, aren't they? Yeah, 8mm.
Yeah, going with 8mm on both. I think the best size for the type of fishing that we do, 8mm.
Yeah.
Still not washed your cap, have you?
No.
It's all dyed from ground bait, look.
That's not a good look out of it.
Yeah, they are lucky, guys, so if you want a bit of WestysAngling good luck, then you know where to go. Right, okay. I want to get fishing. He's already fishing. He's had a couple of bleeps, and it's like they've moved your feeders. So we were discussing before, weren't we, Dad, what that probable cause is of why he's getting liners.
Could be that I'm too far out.
Yeah.
So I might drop it back 3 or 4 feet.
So he's tied to the island at the minute, and I think there's a bit of a runoff from the island that slopes down, and he probably wants to be fishing just a bit off the island in this scenario. It's not always the case. Sometimes they are tight to the islands, but it depends how deep they go up to the island, I think, doesn't it, Dad?
Yeah, you can see him blowing.
Yeah, so you can see him blowing just out. So I think he needs to bring his rods a little bit closer in next cast. So if you are getting big liners and stuff like that, try bringing your rods back. Maybe 4 foot, something like that. Can't see with them glasses on. It's very humid today. It's fogging them up. Right, so white one on one, pink wafter on the other. Oh, God, I lost all my white ones. Oh, about £4 a tub these, can't be worse than these. Oh dear. Size 10 feeder hooks. Nice big feeder hook for carp fishing. £9 hook lengths as well, £10 mainline, not messing around. I've lost enough fish to learn my lesson and fish heavier, and it doesn't put the fish off either. Don't ever think it puts the fish off when you're fishing a little bit heavier, because it doesn't. Check my drag, checking for all my rod rings, check my rods are together properly, look good, drag's okay. Right, and I'm just going to smush all these ground bait, pellets and maggots into this hybrid feeder, and then just sit my hook bait on top, just push it in. They're really soft, then just cover the hook. That's all I need to do. They're perfect then. It's just an absolute mix of everything. It's going to be so much attraction for the carp, that. And then just a little underarm up to the island, probably about 3/4 of the way out. I might try down this margin as well, actually. I'll have one to the island and one down the margin. Sink the line, guys. Got my gripper butt rests. Need to switch these on. Oh, turn them down a bit. Where's the volume on them? There. That'll do. Turn them down even more if anybody else turns up. Might put a little bit of this. Whoop. That's definitely too loud. Come on, Westy. Just going to put a little bit of this pineapple goo on the top of the pellets there, just for that little bit of added attraction in the water. Not much, you don't need much of that stuff. Very strong. Dad just had a little bit of a run again. I think that's definitely the problem, Dad. Oh, have you?
Yeah.
Covered in. My hands are going to be yellow by the end of today with this pineapple goo. There we go. Let's drop this one down the margin. Literally. Let's just drop it there. We're good. Fishing. Easy as that. Really simple setup. Look at this mix. Red and white dead maggots, corn, pellets, 3 lots of ground bait. If nobody had told me where to go today, I would have fished the opposite side over there in the corner. I've had a rod just to the edge of the lily pads, and then move the rod here towards the island.
Yeah.
Probably. But if somebody gives you a tip, you gotta follow it, haven't you?
These probably get fished the most because
Yeah, they're close to the.
It's quite a walk, actually, isn't it?
Yeah, it is a walk.
100, 150 yards.
Yep. What are your predictions for today, Dad?
No, it's ideal, isn't it?
Yeah, weather conditions are good. It's humid, it's mild. There's not much activity on the lake though. Well, I have been told that Heskin is a tough fishery. So I wouldn't be expecting to come here and absolutely bag up, but
Certainly not first time out.
no, not first time coming. So if we get a few fish today, we'll be happy, but they're all 3 lakes are mixed course fisheries. But I think they're weighted heavily towards the carp side. Are they? Oh yeah. There's some blowing coming up here just off. Don't worry, I've got my receiver with me and the bait runners are on. But yeah, just out from that peg. This is a good peg, to be fair. It's a little quiet corner and you got reeds all the way down that side.
No peg on the corner.
No, isn't it?
So it's this one. Or over there, isn't it?
Blowing just out there as well. I've got fish on here, guys. Oh. Ha! Yeah, a little skimmer. Well, it's a start. It was barely registering on the alarm. Look at this. Well, Save the blank, Dad. Just hooked. Size 10 hook. Touching that little slimy sod. There we go. Right. Well, it's a start. Yeah, it was down the edge, yeah. Oh! Hey up. It's probably a pack of them little bream in my swim. So, Heskin Old Hall Farm Fishery is a campsite as well. So, if you do have a caravan, is it like a caravan type thing, Dad?
Yeah, it's a camping caravan, I think.
Camping caravan. I'm pretty sure it's a camping and caravan site. So, if you have got a caravan and you like to do a bit of fishing, it might be the right place for you. Good choice of lakes. So you can have something different every day. And I think there's some really good fish to target as well. I think in Lake 2 the carp go to well into 20s, and in this lake, which is Lake 3, I think there's quite a few double figure fish, or I'm led to believe that there's quite a few fish all the way up to 20 pounds. So the average stamp of fish is better in this lake. I'm not 100% on Lake 1. If I find any information out about Lake 1, I'll put the information in the description for you. I will chuck some mixers out shortly, and we'll see what comes up for them, and see if anything comes up for them, to be honest. Let's do that now, actually. Let's chuck some of these out. We've got plenty here. I had these left over from a carp session in summer. I think they're still fresh though. Yeah, reasonably fresh. So these are actually small. These are actually small Baker's dog biscuits, but they're huge. So let's put a handful of them out, see if that comes up. Put my polarised glasses on so I can see what's going on. Just takes the glare off the water. It's a little bit too dark with them on at the minute. It's going to absolutely heave it down at some point today. It's probably why it's quiet. If anything comes up for these, then I will swap one of these on to a surface controller float straight away. I'm not messing about. Let's get some carp caught.
They must have matches on here, because there was a sign saying it was closed for a match on the 3rd of September.
Did it say the lake?
Yeah.
Okay, so they do matches. Now, we thought it might be pretty tough fishing today because it's just been bank holiday weekend, hasn't it, Dad? And the day after bank holiday weekend is never good fishing, but this is the day that we've got, so just got to make the most of it. And if we don't catch, hopefully you get some good information about the fishery. But I'm sure we'll get a couple of things. I'm hoping for a few carp. Seems like there's one or two fish. I'm going to go at these mixers and dog biscuits that I'm throwing in. Nice calm day as well, so if I can get them competing for the dog biscuits. There's a few fish coming up and taking the mixers, so I'm going to swap one of the rods over. Probably the island one. It's really quick to change up. Which we're just going to cut the method feeder off, and I will put that in there for now. So really simple setup. Got size 8 hook, super sharp, Kamakura, and her rig. So I'm just going to her rig one of the dog biscuits on, just so all the hooks showing, and hopefully that gives us our best chance for a self-hooking. They're meant to be self-hooking with these controller floats. You shouldn't have to strike into them. Now we could try free lining as well, that's another option, but all I'm going to do is feed the line into the controller float. Got that out the other end. I'm going to tie the main line to the swivel that comes with the controller float. I've already got my hook length on, so it's going to be a little bit trickier, but it'll be doable. And then pass all my hook length back through this loop. That's going to be a very strong knot. Trim the tag end, but not completely off. And then feed all that back into the surface controller. Up to the swivel. There we go. And there you've got a bolt effect rig. All we need to do now is her rig one of our dog biscuits on. And watch out for the wildlife as well. You don't want to be hooking a duck, as it were. Let's get a dog biscuit. Nice and soft, them dog biscuits, but they still float. And then, oh god, that hook's sharp. That's what we want. Right into my finger. Hook stop there. I'm just gonna push it into the bait. And there we go. That is the rig. And just put it on your alarm rest. It's probably about a 3 foot hook length, something like that.
Labourer. L-A-B.
So they're literally coming up for these straight away. And I just need one of the carp to take them with enough confidence that they hook themselves. Not 100% which one's my mixer, but that's the good thing about the surface controller float, you don't need to know. But watch this. Sometimes they'll take them with a little bit more confidence if they're further out. You see that? That's one. They're trying at them. You just need to get the carp competing against one another for them. Next cast, I'm going to shorten the hook length. Probably about a foot, maybe more. Right, let's see if that produces a fish. Just put a short hook length on and literally just hooked the dog biscuit rather than having it on a hair. The carp here might just be a little bit more wary. They were taking the biscuits around it, but not that one. This method only works if they're taking them confidently. If they're not taking them confidently, then they're not going to take the dog biscuit aggressively, which is what you need to actually set the hook. Perfect conditions for doing this kind of fishing because it's still calm. The dog biscuits aren't floating away. Dad just had a small bream after all this time. I'm sticking with the surface fishing for the minute. Cast my method feeder rod closer to the island rather than down this margin. I think if I was going to have anything down that margin, it would have been pretty quick. Currently facing off with this moorhen that keeps going for my mixers. This is the problem with this kind of fishing. That's not mine, bastard. But it's a shame because the carp are coming straight up from. So I'm keeping on with the dog biscuit method. However, I've just tied up a hook length with some slightly lighter line. Went for 8-pound quarter cruiser control. And a slightly smaller hook, I just want it to be a little less obvious. It is just a matter of time, but just want it to be as subtle as possible. Because they are taking them off the top, so it's the right method to be using. Well folks, it is very tough fishing today. I've only had that small bream on the method feeder, my dad's the same. I was warned that it was tough fishing here, and I was told that the best chance was on the top, but they're not readily coming up for the dog biscuits. They're coming up and pecking at them, but they're not competing. My dad's got one of his down here in the margin, and a couple of carp do keep coming up and slurping. Whether because surface fishing's allowed here and they've been absolutely hammered on the top, I don't know, but they're just so wary of the controller, and they're picking the odd biscuit up, but it's not like they're coming along hoovering them all up and competing. The only other thing I could really try is free lining. That's the next option if we're still struggling. I've got a gudgeon, guys. Sorry for swinging it. It's a good one. Oh dear. Well, I don't mind catching gudgeon. Look at that. Beautiful fish. Got a bit of a parasite on it there. Let's get that off for it. Dad's in, finally. Off the top.
Just down here.
Literally at your feet. Yeah. It was the third time it come up to take it.
It's 2 times it turned away.
Tough fishing today, isn't it? Yeah. Just plugging away and just patience.
Yeah, that's all it's going to be today. Just like
and did you strike into it?
no, I didn't need to.
Did you have it on your rod rest?
No, I just had it sat lying on top of me.
Dad's just literally got a small clear float on, and fishing floating baits on top of that. It's a good fish, that, Dad.
Right,
Get back on it. Yeah, I'll net it, Dad. I'll net it. My bite alarm's on, so I've got it. That's a good fish, Dad.
Oh, yeah, better than I first thought, actually. I didn't think it was so big when it...
Have you got it?
Yeah.
Oh, nice. Got a right belly on it. Ooh, that's a double, that, Dad. I'd say.
Yeah.
So, well, you can test out your new scales, can't you?
Yeah, yeah.
Dad's got himself same scales as me, I think. Look at this chunk, folks. It's a long fish. Very deep bodied as well. Right belly on it. Now we're going to weigh it. About £10, do you reckon, on a nose with this?
£10.10.
But minus a sling. 10.2, 10.3, something like that. Well, it's a double. Nice one, Dad. So I've took the surface controller off and I've just looped my hook length with my main line. There's the mixer. There's the dog biscuit and a size 8 feeder hook. Her rigged. Let's try this in the margin. Should be a little bit more subtle. I will have to strike into it though, and it's going to mean me watching the dog biscuit and keeping an eye on which one's mine. Try one of these.
Oh, no. I was fucking big holding it. Oh. Fucking horrible slap.
Oh!
Fucking horrible slap.
He's in again, look. Off the top. He just come over to talk to me as well. He put it on his rod rest. Dear me.
Oh.
Seeing as we're not getting anything on the method feeder, and the takes that we are getting are coming from the top, I'm just going to turn the method feeder into a bit of a zig rig using a dog biscuit, and I'm just going to have it either just on the surface or just under the surface. I've not really plumbed the depth, but I think it's about 3.5, maybe 4 foot deep. It's essentially just turning your method feeder into a zig rig but with a dog biscuit. So that dog biscuit will pop up and it'll actually hold the mixer in place. So let's see if it sinks, or let's see if it pops up. And we can go a little bit further out as well, you see. That's going to be just under the water there, so hopefully there's a carp moving through and picks that up, but it'll have a bolt effect, I'd like to think. Let's see what happens with that. Now you can fish that just under the water surface. You could fish it on the surface or maybe an inch under, and that way you're not going to get bothered by the ducks, because they won't be able to see the dog biscuits on the surface. Unconventional, but I like to try different things. I think it'll work. I don't see why it wouldn't. Very, very, very frustrating this. The carp will come up, they'll take a couple of the dog biscuits and then move off. Very cautious, but I definitely think this is the best approach for today. Otherwise we'd have had something on the method feeder. I mean, we've been fishing 3 or 4 hours now, so it's not even like you can watch for cruising fish. It's a lot easier if you can see them moving about and cruising, but they're obviously just under the surface, which I think is why that might do well. If it seems like I'm getting desperate to catch a fish, it's because I am. I can't leave here without getting a carp. There's some big bloody carp coming up for these pellets. They're just so wary of the hook bait. These fish are absolutely mugging me off. I've been stood here maybe half an hour and they're picking at everything but my hook bait. Finally into a fish. Wow, that has been a long time coming. Don't think it's big, but it's a fish. It's a carp. It's common, long common, but it's not so fat. There we go. You got it?
Oh, that's heavy.
There's loads around that corner, Dad, but absolutely mega wary. You won't believe how wary they are. Oh, that is a very welcome fish. Look at that. Really long. Probably about 8 poundish. Something like that, Dad. What do you think?
Yeah.
Nice. Well, I'll get it back, but I'll try for another one, but it's taking me but that one's taken me about an hour and a half of standing there trying to catch it. But I don't know, it might be about 9. What do you think? £9?
It's going away, yeah?
Not really.
Yeah.
About £8 or £9 that, I think. Yeah. Whew. Just shows you perseverance pays off. Oh, right, let's try for another. I've just recast this back out, which is my zig rig, but it's literally just sat on the top there, just away from the edge of the margin. So I'm going to leave that one there. I just need to keep an eye out for these ducks coming around, because if they do I'd have to move it, but just need to be vigilant with that. You don't want to be hooking a duck. Something a little bit interesting about that last fish. So I was watching it for a while, because I've stood here, my peg's there, and I'm watching it, and it's coming up and it's nibbling at a leaf, an oak leaf, proper sucking at it, but it was very invested in trying to get the leaf. So I literally just dropped the dog biscuit on top of the leaf and it sucked the whole thing in. So it wasn't even really after the dog biscuit, it was more invested in trying to, I don't know what they're trying to do, get insects off the leaves, or maybe just eat the leaves themselves. But they're coming up and they're picking at little bits, but very, very wary. I've never known anything like it when surface fishing, but I think because surface fishing's allowed here, they're just so used to it, and maybe they're a little bit more wary because of that. Who knows? Who knows? But Interesting. And I've no doubt in my mind that if I haven't brought those dog biscuits and mixers today, we probably wouldn't have had anything. Definitely not on the method feeders anyway. So it's lucky that I did bring them, but it just shows you that sometimes you need to change your tactics. Can't just fish method feeder all the time. You need to be open to trying something a little bit different. I've just had a run on the dog zig. Oh no, it didn't materialize into anything now, but that's brilliant. That shows it works. Let's just get it back down.
I knew it would work that.
So it just shows you it's not stupid, it does work. It either unhooked itself or it was just pulling at the dog biscuit. What I did with that last one, whether it made any difference or not, I don't know, but I've got obviously my dog biscuit hair rig there, but then I've just taken a sliver of dog biscuit and I've just put it over the shank of the hook, and it'll just hide the shank slightly, probably make it look a little bit more unusual. Ah, the boy's got another one. Yeah, I've got my net, Dad. He's got another one. Left this swim for probably about half an hour. I've just been trickling the odd dog biscuit in. Again, it's another, it's not massive I don't think, but hey, it's a fish. Oh, don't want it to disturb this swim too much. That was straight for that one. There was no thinking about it. There we go. Smashing. Let's take it over to the unhooking mat and have a look at it. Again, not a bad one. I bet it's not far off £6. It's not as big as that last one, Dad. Still not far off £5–6. Yeah, £5–6-ish. Nailed perfectly in the corner of the mouth, as you'd expect. Brilliant. Very enjoyable way of fishing. It's challenging, can definitely be challenging, but perseverance is key. I've had a couple of really good bites now. I should have hooked into fish, so just probably struck a touch too early. Very fine line, but I'm getting a little bit more confidence up over here. Hopefully I've not ruined my chances. Just a touch further out, I think. I tend to take it a little bit quicker if it's further out like that. Yep. Oh, he's come out. Ugh. Why do I keep missing them? Oh. Well, I thought I might have got this take on camera, but the camera died just as I hooked into the fish. But it's a decent one, I think. It's a mirror this time. They're common so far today. They seem to take it a little bit more readily when the dog biscuits are on just the edge, closer to the margin. Let's land this side. Boom. Nice mirror.
They're all decent size, aren't they?
Yeah, they're all a decent size in here, which is what Steve said to us, to be fair. Said they're all doubles or near doubles, but
just to eat that.
was it?
Yeah.
Another bonny fish. All fairly good condition, aren't they, Dad?
Yeah, they are.
So, right, I'll get it back. Oh dear. Good fish, that. They feel a lot heavier in that net. Ooh. Right, keep going. It's getting later on in the day, but hopefully got time for one more fish. Well, we're just going having a nosy at Lake 1 while we're here. It's a fair old trek from the car park to Lake 1. It's a completely opposite direction to the other two lakes. Car park's there. Yeah, it's a good walk. I suppose you could drive your stuff down and drop it off here, but that turning circle's not so big. You could drive your stuff down, I guess. Yeah, you could, and then turn around here. As you can see there, let's be quiet because there was a couple of fellas fishing. It's rude if I'm yapping on when they're trying to chill out. But that's Lake 1. Trying to make me shoe, I think. Friendly.
Bigger dogs.
It's tiny, look at it. Well folks, I think we're going to call it a day there. It's been a really tough day's fishing today. Managed a few off the top. My dad's managed to hook into a couple. I've hooked into maybe about 5 fish, but only, how many have I landed? 3?
Yeah, 3.
So I've landed 3 out of the 5 or 6 that I've hooked. Very, very wary carp, aren't they?
Yeah, they are. They know the dog biscuit with the hook in it. Absolutely. Yeah. They avoid it. You can tell they're just plucking at it. You know what I mean? Where all the free offerings, you can see them take them.
Yeah, they're readily coming up for the free offerings. Like as soon as you put the free offerings in, they're straight up.
Yeah,
and
they can tell when there's a hook in it.
Yeah, the only way really that I found to get them to get a quick bite is to land it just on the edge of the dog biscuits. And as they're moving around, hoovering them up, obviously, they take your hook bait a little bit more aggressively, and that gets you a better opportunity at setting the hook. I've set the hook and it's pulled out a couple of times, but that's a surface fishing, isn't it? You just got to get it right. It's perfect timing.
Yeah, it is. It's probably one of the most difficult aspects of fishing, surface fishing, I think.
Yeah, it's definitely the easiest to get a take, but to actually set the hook is quite tricky. Yeah. Unless you're fishing with bread, it's a lot easier to set the hook when you're fishing with bread, surface fishing, because you can strike through the bread.
Yeah, you can.
Oh, you had it. Oh, what was that? Have we got a fish on? I don't know, let's lift into it and have a look. This is on the... It's come off, it's had the bait away. But I think that'd work, I honestly do. I think I don't think it's a ridiculous method.
No,
I think that'd catch fish. They've just got, again, it's the same as surface fishing. They've just got to take the bait in the right way that they kind of prick themselves on the hook. And they're obviously coming down, they're taking it from the top, so you don't really get that suck and blow effect as you normally would when you hook a carp, especially like on the method feeder and stuff like that, do you?
No,
it's a little bit different.
You shouldn't need to strike into something like that, because
no. Well,
they should hook themselves against the weight to the lead.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Which obviously, with it being such a long hook length, they're not getting that setting power that it needs. But anyway, we're digressing. What do you think about Heskin, Dad?
Well, I think it's a lovely fish, mate.
Yeah?
I do.
What do you like about it? It's well maintained, isn't it?
Yeah, well maintained.
All the pegs. It's neat.
Lovely, full of wildlife. It's, there's obviously a lot of carp and fish in it.
Yeah, it is genuinely packed with carp. We can see them all on the top, and we know that it's got a good stock of carp in. Notoriously hard fishery to fish, I believe. Whether that's, who knows why that is. Some fisheries are harder than others, aren't they?
Yeah, they are. You know, and like I said, we've caught. It's the first time we've ever been here.
Yeah.
So I'm satisfied that we've had a few fish out.
Yeah. Yeah, we've not blanked, have we? So
no, we've
that's
not
the main
blanked,
thing.
and I'm quite sure, you know, a more regular
Angler in this place.
will probably do a bit better. But it's one of those, isn't it? You've got to come quite a few times to get to know a fish.
Yeah, you do. You do. You've got to fish it a few times. Who's saying that we're not in the worst pegs on the lake? We genuinely don't know. Obviously, we had a bit of a tip off where to fish, so we've taken that advice and we've stuck to the pegs. We've not moved. Sometimes we do move if we're not having a really good day. It seems like it's quite tricky on the feeder here. Whether the carp tend to feed up in the water, I don't know. But it's got good facilities, nicely maintained. I think I'd come again.
Yeah, I would.
We'd give it another go. Maybe try one of the other lakes on here. Right, so I'm going to stop waffling and we're going to cut the video off there. I just want to say, if you haven't already subscribed to the channel and you've enjoyed this video, please hit the subscribe button and make sure you click the bell icon so you don't miss another video. So thanks for watching and we'll see you in the next Westys Angling. And don't forget www.westysangling.co.uk if you fancy grabbing yourself some merch. Yeah, Dad?
Yes.
I think you're needing a new hat.
I think he's washing.
Okay folks, we'll see you next time.